Hello and welcome back to Scale War Machines and this remastered series on building a Sherman XDD. In part 1 I constructed the model and scratch built various components. In this part I'll be painting and weathering the XDD. Let's go. Our DD is looking complete. Just time to add some more stowage to the rear of our tank using putty. Ever since this project started years ago, my tank had sported a resin stowage set from Legend Productions, but by adding my own bedrolls and packs, I'm going to personalise it a bit more. Making your own stowage is fun and easy. You can use any putty, but QuickType is a great solution. I also used Milliput Black to add some thicker blankets. Just roll whichever putty out using a rolling pin, cut to shape, and then fold or roll. Sculpt in any creases and add strapping from the same material for a realistic effect. With this, our old scrap Sherman has risen again. So there we have it, construction is complete. I've taken an old kit and using just inexpensive parts and some basic techniques, I've made an ex-Sherman DD just like the ones we've seen in our films and in real life. I've got myself a kit that's a little bit different and isn't yet widely available on the market. Now comes the fun part, painting. I find painting by far the most enjoyable part of model making. After all the hours I've spent building, it's time to give the model a coat of paint. To prepare the way though, there's a couple of things I should do first. It's usually a good idea to give your model a coat of primer, especially if it's been made of different modelling materials. Here I'll be using an acrylic primer. The primer coat serves two purposes. It makes sure the base paint coat adheres to all the materials used in the model, and it provides a clean base that will show up any areas that need tidying up or any defects made at the construction stage. Often an airbrush is the best way to get your primer coat on, though you can also use an aerosol. Use a well-ventilated workspace and if possible a spray boot. The stowage at the rear gets a coat of black primer. Once done, check the model for any defects and you're ready to add something that many a Sherman was covered in: casting symbols. These little symbols and serial numbers were peppered all over Sherman tanks. Each code had a very specific meaning. I'm going to add some made up numbers and symbols picked at random from a special decal set. Take the chosen characters and carefully cut them away. Wet the back and leave for a minute. Then using a brush or fine blade, carefully place them in the desired location. You can speed up drying with a hairdryer. Then just add a coat of decal setting solution to smooth down the transfers. Sadly, these products are no longer sold and the manufacturer Archer has since ceased trading, so you'll need to find an alternative. The effect once dry is 100% convincing. With the symbols dry, it's time to give our model some depth and shadows. I do this by using a darker shade of primer, here dark green. Just spray any shadow areas. This is sometimes called pre-shading. It is the first step in starting to give our model a realistic finish. The idea is this will show through when our base coat goes on. Gently apply the base coat in thin stages. Here I'm using Tamiya Olive Drab lightened with some desert yellow. You can see the shadow areas still showing through. Make an even lighter mix and spray this onto the highlight areas. This is mainly where the sun would hit the tank the most and fade the paint or create natural highlights. Like the turret top and hatches, plus exposed areas. When you're happy with the finish, seal the model with a coat of varnish, or in this case an acrylic floor product. This protects all the work and readies the model for the weathering stages to come. With the model dry, it's time to start weathering. Step 1. I used lighter shades of paint to pick out yet more highlight areas of the model, this time components like fuel caps, periscope guards and covers, and other features. This is the next stage to give our model the illusion of depth and different mechanical pieces. I take the opportunity to paint the stowage on the back too. A selection of acrylic colours will do the job. Block out the colours but keep a note of the ones you've used. Seal the model again. Then you can start to make a lightened mix of each base colour. Make this watery and almost translucent. Carefully apply highlights and folds using this lighter mix. Repeat the process with progressively lightened coats as many times as necessary. You can also add some wear and tear to the ammo boxes on the deck. Next, I use a dark ready-made enamel wash. Moisten the surface with some thinners and let the dark wash run into any recesses or shadow areas. If it's too thick, you can remove it with another brush. You can also use some neutral wash too on the lower areas where dust would accumulate. Likewise, a rust-type wash on the hedgerow cutter will work to highlight a part of the model subject to major use and wear. Next, I made a very dark wash using oil paints. It needs to be almost black. This will be the darkest shadow wash and will only be used sparingly around specific details or to simulate oil stains. This is sometimes called a pin wash. In addition, you can also start to add spots of oil using other ready-made products too. The model is now darkened with areas of deep shadow. The fun really begins as I can now add mud and dust. First, apply a light dusting of enamels by airbrush. Allow them to set for 20 minutes. And then, with a wide brush moistened with thinners, gently draw the brush down to make convincing rain marks and dust trails. You can keep repeating the process until you're happy. To create a layer of mud, add some modelling pigments. Here I have mixed 3 shades together and splattered it on thickly by brush, mixing it with water. To add fresh mud, just take a toothbrush and flick a mud mix like these onto the hull. Here you can see how making the wheels detachable allows you to work on this area with ease. The model is starting to look like a true veteran. But this is just the start. Now I can add even more dust and wear because weathering is a multi-stage process, constantly building up successive layers and effects. So I use some off-the-shelf earth and sand washes to add another layer of dust to our XDD. I also repeat the enamel technique sporadically, where needed, for yet more dust and rain marks. I like to think of weathering as trial and error. There's no right or wrong way. You just have to try out different techniques and see what works. The Sherman XDD is almost complete, just a few more steps to go. I used small amounts of acrylic paints to create delicate chipping marks and effects around the areas most used by the crew. Then I burnish areas of wear that would be polished by their movements or through general usage. For this I use either a pencil or graphite powder. The model is virtually done. The final part of the process is to add more pigments, both wet and with a dry brush, but it's important to keep it all very subtle. Use measured amounts to show where dust would accumulate on a real fighting vehicle. Then, after a few final tweaks and additions, the Sherman is ready for display. Here it is, the Sherman DD is now complete, and it's a fitting tribute to the men who fought in these machines, and the machines themselves, that went on to fight from Normandy deep into the heart of Germany. I hope you've enjoyed this Scale War Machines build. It makes me feel pretty old to know that this was made over 12 years ago now. You've seen though that you can make something original and effective just from leftover parts, spares and scrap models. Thanks for supporting Scale War Machines over the years, I really do appreciate it. Happy viewing and happy modelling from me. Until the next time, bye.
Subscribe for our latest videos.